You'll see it happen in MMA a lot in the cage. So people shoot. All right, it doesn't. You can just be here. You're like this, right? And and I think like in the 10th plan they call this 100%. Right? Well, they can turn the guy here, right? Particularly what happens when they're trying to get the double and they're holding onto your hip and they're doing this. You see, they're kind of putting themselves in a crucifix, right? Mm-hmm. And then a lot of times they're gonna want to spin out, and then you start fighting for the back. Sometimes you can just go from this 100% hook the chin, and now it becomes a front headlock, right? Some people you can just crank it and you'll just flip them, get this quick reversal. So it happens quite a bit. Pretty much anytime you have a front headlock, you could go into a half crucifix. Right? So I'll move down to the ground here again and go over. We can do a nice setup for a guillotine, and then we'll do arm inside guillotine. All right. So if I'm here, what I do a lot, if we're hanging on the head, butterfly guard, I'll look for the chin here, and I'm just gonna pull. And that puts me right into the guillotine. Right? And you have a surprising amount of pull. Like most people don't mind you hanging on the head a little bit here, but if they get a head and this chin, and now I could go just neck. We'll do the arm inside guillotine here just so we show another way of finishing this. For the arm inside guillotine, one of the main differences, you don't want to go too deep. If you go too deep, this is what happens. My hand ends up in his armpit. And the longer the arms you have, the more of a problem it can be. Because then I'm going to be over here. So when I squeeze, I'm choking his shoulder, which doesn't really suffocate. All right? And his neck doesn't get as much pinch. So with the arm inside guillotine, you're using the rule of thumb, which essentially I want my thumb somewhere in this vicinity here. Once it's past his neck, that's as far as I need to go. Right? So when I get here, thumbs already out on the outside, it's enough. I'm still doing that same ball and socket grip, just grabbing my fist, right? And I'm gonna fall the same way, towards the side. Okay, here. And since I was in a butterfly guard, one leg's gonna be in the middle. That's fine. Now everything else is the same. Right? It's just changing your hand position. You don't want to get too deep. And because you don't have as much, you're not as deep, it requires better positioning of your hips. If you're doing arm inside guillotine, you definitely want to be on the side of your hip. Because this is giving you more compression here. That's why a half guard guillotine, arm inside, is very strong. Because you're going to be on your side from half guard. And you're free to really crank in here. When you're in the guard, your body wants to fall square, which is going to be a weaker position for you to get that crank. Is there another angle here? So like this, butterfly guard, I'm here, find the head, find the chin, I pull and I'm guiding it to my armpit. And you're almost doing this kind of like an arm drag, right? I'm going to throw myself back a little bit. Thumb's already there, I'm touching his shoulder with my thumb, that's good enough. Make my grip, again, falling hard over his head. Now notice the difference, if I come up again, I go very deep. Uncomfortable,
yeah,
but not near the same pressure.
You're gonna work harder. Yeah.
I'm gonna work a lot harder.
You did that, like a gun show from out there. Can you do that from that same pole line?
Yeah, with a pistol choke and all that. You can do that same thing.
Okay.
It's not a forte of mine, so.
Okay.
But I usually go guillotines if I'm gonna do that. I like guillotines a lot because, as I'll show next, I have lots of sweeps that I can go into.
Okay.
So like I see the guillotine just like with Kimura, it's another position. When I have someone in the guillotine, they don't have a lot of options. They're just fighting off the neck, and then they're usually doing something with their legs to try to evade the hip posture, and then that's how I sweep. Cool? Okay, so seated butterfly, boom. Head, chin, boom. Again, roll back a little. I don't want to roll back too far where I fall, but just enough to suck them in and get my guillotine lock. Cool? 2 on 3, ready? 1, 2, 3, go!